Hey guys, here we go into a final film study. I know I only did a couple videos on this fight, but it's actually one that I'm like super excited to watch, and I can't wait for it. Which is Fury versus Wilder, or rather Wilder versus Fury, since he's the champion. But first, what we're gonna do is gonna take a look at some of the film from their workouts and kind of look at some of their strategies and what they're looking to do, and kind of get a read for how we think that the fight might go. See if they're practicing the things in the gym that they're going to do to be successful in the fight. Now, a lot of people gave Deontay Wilder like a ton of shit for his performance here. The video has a ton of dislikes. Every comment is, this guy has terrible technique, this guy this guy that. It's like, you fucking clowns don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what they expect. Some guy to stand there in front of the pads. You go watch like Errol Spence hit the pads. He just stands there like a robot. And people are like, oh man, such good technique, such good this. But he's not throwing with speed and power. A little bit, right? But it's really controlled. It's mostly like working on technique, whereas Wilder here is working on functional attacks. He's looking for that speed. He's looking to get in there quickly, like it's a fight. And like the way that he brings the shot back, he moves his head. And one thing I want you to look at how he does this motion right here. See how he's moving to the side? Really fascinating. It's kind of that idea with the active guard where you can feint your opponents, and it looks like he's trying to lean on his front foot to kind of hide his jab, and then when he shoots it, also using that ability to slip Tyson Fury's jab and move to the outside of it. As you see, boom. So I think it's going to be his counter jab that he's working on, and it's really fascinating if you keep watching the video. And although I don't like this though, watch this, how he pops his gloves. He does that a lot during the course of the training. So if he does that in the fight, that might wind up being a tell for him. But I do like this though. He shoots the jab, and then his coach is controlling him with the lead hand, keeping him in his face, and he swats it down, keeps his right hand up. But just like a fight, very intense, shooting the jab. And notice these jabs are different, right? Just shoots a regular jab, right? And then slips, right? And look at how he takes the angle. He's stepping with it as well, right? So he can get in position to land that right hand. It's not a straight up and down jab. It's going to give Tyson Fury a lot of problems if he's trying to counter Deontay Wilder, because Deontay Wilder's head is in a different spot. Notice he's here, right? And now when he ends his jab, he's over here. That's going to put him in a lot better position to land his own right hand as well. And remember, that's all Deontay Wilder wants to do anyway. So moving on, again, shooting the jab. And again, right, keeps his hand out there to control his opponent. Right, a lot of people might give him a lot of shit for that, but they don't understand boxing. Good head movement. Feinting and giving different looks, in his pad work. I think people don't often understand how important that is. And again, beautiful, right? Shooting jab, moving off the line, slipping possible counter right hands if his opponent's going to try to counter his jab. And I think Deontay Wilder's jab is going to be incredibly difficult to counter, because he's got that active, they call it a unorthodox, or he's what do they call it? It's a really derogatory term, but it's to, oh god, I can't think of the word. You guys will put it in the comments, but when people don't understand it, it's like awkward. Oh yeah, awkward. They go, oh, he's got that awkward style. It's not awkward. Just because the guy's not standing there like a dummy in front of you doesn't mean he's awkward. Yeah, you're gonna have to work to find him. It's not free. But I love this right here. So watch how he moves his head. He leans on his front foot, right? He shoots that jab, boom, moves his head off the line. That's the same motion right there that he's making with his right hand, right? Taking that step, and then his head's gonna move off the line, and he's able to hide his right hand there. You'll see it a little better in other things, but again, beautiful, shooting a probing jab and then throwing a right hand. It's almost like he's expecting the fight to be based off of the jab, right? Fury's jab, and Fury looking to counter his jab and basically only use his jab to fight Wilder, because if he can win the jabbing game and avoid the right hand game, he can do what he did to Klitschko and just nickel and dime him throughout the fight. But it looks like Deontay Wilder is already prepared for that. He's already ready, and he's got his fake slip counters, right, and then his right hands. So a lot of work that I really like from Wilder, and I like that he's doing it. Like, notice, how often do you ever see anyone feint the pad work, right? How often? Or feint bag work, right? Never. You never see it. So even though people don't like his technique, people don't like... It's about fighting. It's about functional training. You know, you're only ever going to do what you do in the ring if you've done it outside the ring. If you've never done it outside the ring, you're never going to pull it off in the ring on the first try, right? Never. And I love this too. Even after shooting that right hand, boom, pulls off the side. It's not quite as sharp or as fast as Fury, but Fury doesn't throw all his weight into his shots either, right? Look at how his hips kind of turn all the way over and he starts moving. And we're going to look at Fury's tape as well. But very athletic, yada yada, a lot of feinting, probing jabs, and then beautiful. Love that. So notice how earlier he was stepping with his jab, right? Now he steps with his right hand, makes it look like a jab. If his opponent goes to counter it, right, Tyson Fury goes to counter it, right hand over the top. Again, adding elements of feinting, adding elements of like the psychological part of boxing into his training, ingraining it so he doesn't have to learn it all in the ring. You know, even though he kind of looks funny here too, right? And, you know, just for the sake of, and again, feinting, right hand, and just for the sake of not picking on Wilder for his left hook, we're going to skip that stuff. Talking about his left hook, it is a little awkward, a little swingy, and it doesn't look like he gets his hips all the way into it. Notice they don't come back, right? He's kind of not square, but he's completely sideways, but his hips aren't turned the other way, right? They're basically in a starting position, right? They're here, right? And then he kind of cocks his left hand a little bit. His coach kind of remedies that as well, telling him to feint the right hand later when he goes jab, jab hook. Let's see if we can find it. I wonder what that means, what that is going to be about, the lead left hook. I wonder if that'll be something that's important in the fight. I can't really imagine it being super important unless he's expecting Tyson Fury to slip to the inside a lot and wants to catch him with it, but I'm not sure. Oh, I'm getting a text right now from my friend. Let's see, where is it? Oh, did I miss it? Anyway, still got to do Tyson Fury's stuff too. One thing I want you to pay attention to, look at Deontay Wilder's legs. Look at how far apart they are, right? And how his legs are really bent. You know, not really bent, right? And I love this, right? Probing, shoots that right hand and moves off the line. Beautiful work, you guys. And how often do you ever see anybody do this on the pads? Right? Never. But there's one more thing that I want to point out for him, and it's going to be like really critical for the fight. Okay, this is the part where he jab hook, right? And his coach right there is telling him to feint the right hand first, right there. So boom, and then he throws. Just beautiful. So let's watch the first one, right? Jab, hook, right? And not a lot of power. Then he tells him to turn, right? So he goes jab, turn, and then hook. Jab, turn, and then hook. We'll watch it one more time. Turn, and then hook, right? To get not only does it get the power into it, but if you get your opponent to turn away from a right hand that's not coming and into a left hook, straight knockout. They're just done, especially on Wilder's power level. But anyway, let me see if I can find that again. And beautiful work, right? Slipping, moving off the line, constantly training that, and that's what people like so much about Fury, is that he moves like that in the ring. Oh, he moves like this, he moves like a lightweight. And Deontay Wilder's training the same stuff, you know. He might not be as fast, but it's the same stuff. Now we're going to skip that stuff too. But I want to get to the part. Let's see if I can even find it. Again, controlling his opponent, right? Putting that lead hand out there, and then throwing a right hand, and then pop into that other kind of a cross. And then beautiful, controlling his opponent, right? He's practicing these things, and they're going to be ingrained in him when he goes to fight Fury. It's beautiful. Now this is also like really good stuff, and I missed the part, but his coach basically takes the mitts and just starts shoving them in his face, and he has to kind of slip and, you know, move and use his own lead hand to control his coach's hand. And it's you know, a great technique to get that kind of lead hand out of your face, you know, and to teach you that and to ingrain it. Now we're going to kind of take a look at Fury's and see what he's doing. Now look at how close his legs are, right? For such a tall guy, he's not really bent. Look at how he turns his hips with each shot, right? Just a little bit, tap, 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 and then boom, right? But not putting his whole weight in everything. But look at how close his legs are together, like the top of his legs. You know, he's not expanding his core, right? He's really compact, right? And that's why Wilder has so much more power, is because if you look at Fury's hips right here, they're already basically pointing at his opponent, right? Whereas Wilder is kind of, his leg is a little farther back, his hips are wider, so that he's able to transfer more weight. Right now, Fury's weight is really centered, and that's why he's able to do these really flashy motions, and move off the line really easily. And he's like such a great athlete, you know, because his weight is always centered. And that's why Wilder gets so much crap for his, because he's not centered. His legs are a little bit farther apart, and it makes it look like he's more forcing it. And it's because he is, to be honest, but that's just because his weight. But beautiful right there, boom, boom, a little pivot off the line, right, pop, little angle, and then moves off the line. You know, Wilder doing the same thing that Fury's doing, but because his legs are farther apart, you can see it more. You know, it's less mystical. You know, that sounds kind of weird, but let's see if we can get to the part where he actually starts boxing, though. So here he is, southpaw, which will be very interesting if he fights him. But look at how he's shooting this jab and then moving off the line away from a counter jab. Right? Boom, boom, moving off the line. He moves his head after every punch. And that's the reason why you don't see a lot of fighters like this, is because a lot of fighters don't train like this. See, this is exactly what what Wilder is doing. It's just he's not as sharp, just because of the fact that his hips, you know, Fury's always already turned in the direction that he's going to be moving, and he's going to be throwing punches. Again, beautiful, right? Shoots that jab, moves off, right? Shoots the jab, moves off. Let's see. Now there is a part in here that's really interesting. Going back to right-handed. Maybe it's toward the end. Maybe that was it. No, just jab right hands. Jab right hand. He's not going to be doing any of that shit in the fight, I'll tell you that. But I think it's right here. This is... No. No. Okay, here we go. Moving off the line after he shoots that beautiful. Now he's in southpaw position, so he's shooting that. The counter comes, and he's moving off the line and coming back with his own counters. Just beautiful, to be honest. Boom, slip, jab, slip. And then he's going to add something to it, too. And this makes me believe that Wilder's game plan is really going to be effective against him. Because, you know, not that there's anything wrong with basing your whole game plan around the jab, right? But when your opponent is looking to take advantage of that jab, again, beautiful. Jab, jab, slip, 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 move off the line. You know, beautiful. You train how you're going to fight. But this is the part. Shoot the jab, move off the line, or shoot the jab, slip to the right, and then throw a right hand. Bop, boom. Bop. Oh, I guess he only threw a couple of those. But if that looks like that's going to be his plan, and that's kind of all I could surmise from his pad work here. And this is a couple of weeks ago. It looks like Deontay Wilder has a game plan that's going to be just a little bit ahead of him. Because if they're both throwing right hands after their jabs, I'm going to put my money on Wilder's right hand every single time. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, I did some breakdowns of this fight and some film study on this fight before, maybe a couple months ago, in which I really gained an appreciation for Deontay Wilder and his talent, and his boxing skills, which is not something that a lot of people say about him. If you look at the comments of that video, no boxing skill, no technique, all power in his right hand. But if you watch that Gerald Washington film study that I did, you can see that although it looks, like a little sloppy, he's not Errol Spence with his technique and his sharpness and his hands close to his head and, all that garbage. He fucking dismantles Gerald Washington. God damn it. Yeah, Gerald Washington, not David Branch. Okay. But he fucking dismantles him. And then he baits him into a knockout punch, and he just sets it up beautifully. He just totally crushes Gerald Washington. And it kind of looked like, if you rewatch the Fury Klitschko fight, that Klitschko was getting there with Fury as well, finding ways to slowly, not break him down. I don't want to say that because it was a dominant performance from Fury, but slowly working on his breakdown, and there were some times in the fight where he was able to control Fury and keep Fury's head down to the side and land some right hands on Fury. And I think the pressure that Deontay Wilder puts on is going to be just so much more tremendous than Klitschko was able to do, that he's going to get to that point in the fight much sooner with Fury. And there's like a little bit of a fanboy in me, I'll be honest, that's making me think that Wilder's going to get it done. I'm thinking that Wilder's going to get it done. If he, the Luis Ortiz fight really put a lot of stock in Deontay Wilder for me, that he was so far behind and he was hurt so much, and, Ortiz is a phenomenal fighter, and he was able to get it done. It makes me think that when Wilder realized is if he winds up being down on the cards, that he's going to be able to go for broke. He's gonna look for it. He's gonna work hard to find that KO. He's gonna really try to make it happen. And I do kind of think that if Wilder connects, he can put Fury down. But I don't know. I don't know if Fury's ever, if Fury has ever been knocked down or hurt, for that matter. So, there's some questions there. Maybe he's got like a granite chin. I'm not sure, but I think that it's going to be a really, really, really fun, competitive, edge of your seat kind of fight, like all of Wilder's fights are. Even when you're expecting him to win, you're just like, oh, what round is he going to get it? What round? Oh, is it going to be this round? Is it going to be this punch? Is it going to be, before doing the film study, I didn't give him a chance. But after, I can believe in Wilder, and I'm making some kind of brash picks in my last two videos, picking Stevenson to get it done against Vostick, and now picking Wilder to beat Fury. I can't even believe it myself. But if you didn't catch that video, it's a very flawed film study on Vostick fighting Southpaws, but some of the stuff that I saw in the highlight videos just don't line up. Catch that video, check it out if you want. Also, I have a video about Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence. You can check that out, and let me know what you think. But let me know what you guys think about this video in the comments below. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think, okay? Anyway, enjoy the fights and have a great weekend, guys. Bye.